It was blue skies and warm temperatures for Kentucky fans who followed the Cats to Maui. But for John Calipari's young team, it was anything but smooth sailing. First, there were impressive wins over Oklahoma. And then Washington, as freshman Terrence Jones provided the points and the passion. But in the championship game, the Cats couldn't come up with a stop or provide an answer to a UConn team that was out to prove a point. Since then, students have been enjoying the Thanksgiving holiday, that is, with the exception of these students of the game. Tonight, Kentucky tries to bounce back against Boston U. Next on the Big Blue Sports Network.
From Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, it's University of Kentucky Wildcat basketball. Tonight, it's the University of Kentucky versus the Boston University Terriers. Tonight's game is being presented by Sleep Outfitters. Sleep like a champion, play like a champion. Tonight's game is also brought to you by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance, big on commitment. By the Whitaker Bank Corporation, uniquely Kentucky. By Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. By the Lexington Clinic. By Midway College. And by Ford. Visit your Kentuckiana Ford dealer today. Ford, drive one.
We've all heard that old saying, there's no place like home, and for the first time in 18 days, the Wildcats of Kentucky are back in the friendly confines of Rupp Arena, looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season as they take on the Terriers of Boston University. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Baker alongside the Wildcat All-American Kyle Macy. Kyle, I think everybody, before you go out to Maui, you think, okay, 3-1, that's a really good trip. They got an awfully bad taste in their mouth, though, after the way the final went down against UConn.
I think a lot of it had to do with fatigue, though, in watching the game. There was talk about selfishness and those type of things. But, you know, young team still getting to know each other, how to handle a little bit of adversity, being on the road in a hot gym 3 nights in a row, makes it kind of tough. So we'll see tonight how they respond against a team that also has a lot of new players as well in Boston University.
Absolutely. 11 of the 13 faces on this BU team not here a year ago. We're coming back, and we're taking a look at the starting lineups and much more here on the Big Blue Sports Network. There you see the crowd that's turned out 23,000 strong at Rupp Arena tonight as the Cats get set to take on the Terriers of Boston University. And time now to take a look at the Terriers from the America East Conference, who come in with a record of 4-3, Kyle, as we mentioned. 11 out of the 13 players were not on this roster a year ago.
Yeah, a lot of new faces. John Holland is the go-to guy, although he's kind of been struggling with his shot. They do have 4 players that have already scored in 20 points in the game, so some pretty good balance as well.
And on the other side of the coin for the Wildcats of Kentucky, it's a familiar starting lineup and one that they've gotten some production from in a lot of different areas. Terrence Jones, Brandon Knight providing the offense, Josh Harrelson, the rebounds, Darius Miller with kind of those scrappy plays, and DeAndre Liggins has been the defensive stopper.
Yeah, kind of interesting, though. Coach Calipari yesterday in practice considered maybe bringing Deron Lamb into the starting lineup, let DeAndre come in off the bench, but after the practice yesterday, looks like he stayed with DeAndre.
DeAndre can certainly provide that spark whenever he comes in. He's the guy that makes those game-changing kind of plays. Can he do that tonight as the Cats look to bounce back against the Terriers of BU? We will be back with the opening tip-off right after this.
This season, let's lose the foe. No fake trees. No phony trucks. Just real proven power. The kind that comes from the legendary Ram. Just in time for the holidays. Announcing the Ram Big Finish of 2010.
Hold on a minute! Toys! Toys! You're supposed to be making toys!
But Santa, the switch to Winnaker Bank is in such high demand. Didn't you check your list, Santa?
All they have to do is activate the switch.
And voila, banking just got easy.
Ho! You're right. Switching to Whittaker Bank does make banking easy. Keep them coming!
Make the switch Whittaker Bank today.
We're Shelter Insurance.
We know you don't stay in business for more than 60 years unless you treat customers right.
We think insurance is better when it relies as much on humanity as it does on technology.
And we know what the weather is like in your area because we live in your area.
Shelter Insurance. For your auto, home, and life. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Cats getting set to tip off against Boston University, and the third member of our broadcast crew is Rob Bromley. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Dave. Our UK healthcare injury report. Nothing to report on the UK side, and that is certainly good news. That's the way it's been all season. Jeff Pelage, the big man for Boston University, went down with a high ankle sprain in the preseason. He has not played at all. He played with Brandon Knight at Pinecrest, so the Terriers haven't had him all season. That's our UK healthcare injury report.
And he is certainly the big inside presence for these Terriers as you take a look.
Yeah, that's a big loss for the Terriers. He's just a solid rebounder. They knew when he was playing that they were going to get double-figure rebounds from him, so a big loss tonight.
Absolutely. Doug Sermon's thrown it up. You saw our officials, and Kentucky in the home white starts off on offense.
Kind of a 1-2-2 matchup zone to start the game by the Terriers.
Jones tried to feed it inside to Harrelson, and it was batted away by Pat Hazel, and that's the first turnover of the game. Irving swings it around to O'Brien, and now Daryl Parton. Long three over Miller.
Boston switches right back to man-to-man second trip. So again, keeping these young guards on their toes, trying to pick up the defense, get in the right offensive set.
Miller thought about the three, and now Knight resets. Bumped on the drive, and Hazel will draw the foul. Of course, UK coach John Calipari on the bench tonight with a heavy heart following the loss of his mom, Donna, on Sunday. Grave fight with cancer at age 74, and the UK players honoring Cal's mom tonight by wearing the black socks, the black armbands, as Jones gets the first two of the game.
Good look down low, and you can tell Coach Calipari, his mind's on the game, but obviously anytime you lose a family member, especially your mother or father, you know, you can prepare for as much as you think you can when you know they have cancer and it may be life-ending, but at the same time too, it's just not the same until it really happens. No matter how well you think you're prepared for it, just a real hard time for John.
Foul against Darius Miller. Cal said that his parents had been married for 55 years. And they'll have a private memorial service on Saturday. As you take a look at Pat Chambers in his second year as the Boston U head coach. He was previously on the staff with Jay Wright at Villanova. As John Holland hits and John Calipari, the Kentucky coach, looks on.
One of the things they talked about in the practices coming back from Hawaii was the fact that the communication of this team, not just defensively where you're calling out picks and those type of things, but also on the offensive end. You know, making sure everybody's in the right position, calling if you're going to come and set a pick for someone, or just communicating out there, everybody talking on passing.
And there's a steal off the press. Boston U able to convert. It was Holland who was at the free throw line. He started things with the steal, got it on the bucket, and immediately John Calipari calls a timeout. And Kyle, just to speak to your point, just before that last free throw, the motion he was making was to Brandon Knight to get your team together on this dead ball situation and talk about what to expect coming out of the free throw.
Right, you got to call your press offense. If you think in the scouting report, you'll know if your opponents are going to press. And that time, Brandon just careless with the basketball. We saw that a lot over in Connecticut. He had 18 turnovers in that tournament, you know, averaging 6 a game, which is way too many for your point guard. Something we really hadn't seen from him in some of the earlier games.
BU with its biggest lead at 5-2.
Back to that matchup zone.
Jones, he's got all 4 of Kentucky's points.
Kentucky doing a good job attacking the middle of that zone. Actually, you picked against the zone, which can be a good thing. Jones flashing, getting the turnaround jump shot.
Kentucky showed a full court press of its own, but DJ Irving now sets the offense. Irving gets it back, guarded by Miller. There's Holland, the man you talked about at the start of the broadcast. Pull-up 3 won't go. The foul is going to be whistled against Jake O'Brien over the top. 6'8", 220-pound junior from Weymouth, Massachusetts.
Now, Holland has a real good basketball body, but you can see maybe why his shooting percentage isn't as high as it should be, because he has a pretty good stroke, but that time kind of forcing his shot. Need to be a little bit more patient on the offensive end.
Knight, cross court, and that one gets away from Liggins, and choppy would be a charitable word to describe the Kentucky offense early on.
Well, and Brandon is really struggling with his decision making right now, whether to pull up and shoot that short jump shot, that kind of runner, if you will, or sometimes taking it too far and then get it kind of stuck and not really having a place to go. That time a little bit too far. Had that little 5-6 footer, he could have pulled up and taken the shot.
Off the curl, Irving has to back it back out. Here's Holland, and he dribbled it off his knee and turns it over. First turnover of the night against the Terriers, who hold the 1-point lead.
You know, that's one thing Kentucky didn't really do in that championship game out in Maui. When they were struggling a little bit, kind of choppy, as you said, with the offense, they just didn't get stops. That time, a good defensive possession by Kentucky, getting the ball back with no points going on the board.
That time, we could hear Knight call out the offense. There, he gets it back for a 3, and that was an air ball. Irving. Bumped by Knight, but no call. And they say the ball goes off his leg. And Pat Chambers is now getting a warning from Doug Sermons. He was all the way off the Boston U bench and out on the court.
It may be justifiable. It looked like there was some pretty good contact on that drive to the basket. Yeah.
But still, you got to play through it.
You see Kentucky still not sure what they're trying to get into. Drawing Lamb, the lineup for Liggins, comes right in scoring. Good boosting off the bench.
John Calipari makes the substitution, and Lamb, the freshman from Queens via Oak Hill Academy, with the instant offense as Kentucky goes back out on top by 2. Good defense by Kentucky in the half court. Here's Parton on the pull-up. That's a tough shot.
Now Parton 6'6" at point guard. That's kind of a tough matchup. Very clever move that time, little fadeaway. And again, just decision making. There you see Brandon Knight probably had a wide open jump shot. Instead, that time tried to drive it to the basket.
Harrelson turns on the baseline and gets the roll.
And right now we're seeing the difference between a player playing with a lot of confidence in Josh Harrelson and a player that's kind of struggling with his confidence, Brandon Knight.
Good call there, Mace. Excellent analogy.
But this game, it is so much mental. I mean, all these players are very physical and great attributes, but again, it comes down mentally. You got to be ready to play and have confidence in your game. You can do when you get a chance.
Harrelson got the bucket and then got the block, and it's Kentucky with the 2-point lead.
When's Dad coming home?
He'll be home Friday.
No more burnt toast.
No more hogging the remote.
Yeah. No more corny jokes.
No more clean your room.
Yeah.
No more snoring. You know, I miss him already.
So do we, Mom.
Yeah.
We are doctors, nurses, and healthcare professionals who have spent 90 years committed to our mission of caring for your health. We are devoted to our values and dedicated to our patients. We are fully integrated healthcare, making your life easier. We are technology you can rely on, the compassionate care you deserve. We are great people providing great healthcare. We are Lexington Clinic, Central Kentucky's doctors since 1920. Your doctors for life.
To us, the little things mean a lot. Add up all our standard features and safety tech.
How was it?
And you've got something big.
We'll take it.
Awesome.
Announcing the Chrysler Big Finish of 2010.
Fans, don't forget that Whitaker Bank will donate $100 to the Kaywood Ledford Scholarship Fund for each bank shot made in tonight's game. Dave Baker, Kyle Macy, Rob Bromley, Mike Canarack, Tom Bickle, and our entire Big Blue Sports Network crew. Hoping you and yours had a great Thanksgiving as we return to Rupp Arena with the Cats on top of the Terriers by a deuce.
You know, Dave, sometimes when you're playing and struggling a little bit with your confidence, you can still shoot a good percentage, which the Cats are, shooting 80%, 4 out of 5 from the field. And all those baskets have come from assists. But when you try to force things a little bit much, you turn the ball over, and they've got 3 turnovers this far early in the game.
Knight pulls down the rebound and takes it all the way for the Cats. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Calipari off the bench yelling at Brandon Knight, way to go. And I think even more than the drive, he liked the fact that so many of his teammates ran over to help him up.
Yeah, that's a good thing, communication skills. Also, too, for Brandon now to get to the free throw line, maybe get 1 or 2 to go down and gain a little bit of confidence back.
You talked about this confidence deal that he's going through right now in Brandon Knight. Josh Harrelson has gone through it before. You know, he's dealt with it, as you see Deron Lamb there, but Knight is the guy. This may be the first time that in a long time he's really struggled.
Could very well be, but you know, every player at some point has to go through that. They've got to get to where they're playing and they have some success so they can build that confidence and then just relax and do the things they're capable of doing. You start thinking too much sometimes on the basketball floor and it can be dangerous.
Matt Griffin, number 2 with the basketball right there, 5'10" junior from Narberth, Pennsylvania, transfer from Rider. I think that 5'10" listing is a bit generous. He's checked into the BU lineup as Holland lost his footing for a minute. Good defense, and Harrelson forces O'Brien into the travel.
O'Brien, a good move there going to the basket, just not strong enough. Josh Harrelson, you see hands straight up in the air, so no foul call, just holding his ground.
Knight with a kick on the baseline to Miller. And they say that he stepped on the baseline. And Kentucky has turned it over for the 4th time And we've only played 5.5 minutes. DeAndre Liggins back up off the Kentucky bench, and he'll check in for Darius Miller.
One thing when you turn the ball over a lot too, Dave, you know from playing your pickup games, the fact that if you get careless with it, you're not really focused in on what you're doing. You've got to make the game mean something to you. A football analogy would be if you're playing a team that's maybe playing for a bowl game as opposed to just finish your season knowing you've already qualified for a bowl game. It's got to come from the heart. You got to play with that passion and take care of the basketball every possession.
Number 15, Dom Morris, 6'7", 240 freshman out of Newark, where number 15 has also checked in, and Griffin can't get that jumper to go.
And that's not really something the coaches, I mean, they can talk about it and everything, but it's got to come from the players.
Harrelson with the offensive board, and the stick back.
Real good recognition. See, saw he had the offensive board and some opening there, so went right back up. He's got great touch. Sometimes needs to look at the score maybe a little bit more.
Austin U with trouble getting the basketball in, and before they get the 5-second call, Pat Chambers takes a timeout.
The last time the missed shot, Harrelson grabs it, recognizes there's a gap there, so he attacks the basket. Sometimes the big men for UK this year just catching it and throwing it right back out, but a good job recognizing where he was, where the defense was, and going up strong off the glass.
That's the kind of thing that Josh Harrelson really needs to do. Not only for his own playing time, but certainly for the success of this Kentucky basketball team.
And there's been a lot of talk too about this year how much better shape he's in. In the past we've seen him maybe coming now to the bench to rest a little bit because he's had a pretty good stretch here, but instead he's right back out there, one of the first on the floor. You can see a little bounce in his step, feeling real good about his conditioning out there on the court.
I think he's just really in a good place with his life too. I saw him over at the mall on Saturday night, and I mean, you know, this thing can wear on you. And I mean, he is really, you know, he's got things I think in a really good perspective right now.
I'm walking into the arena tonight, and next thing I know, somebody pops up under my umbrella, and it's Josh coming in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it's a whole attitude thing. Long three-pointer. First one of the game for either team is Jake O'Brien, the 2009 America East Rookie of the Year, gets the triple.
Another zone this time down, so Boston changing the defense from possession to possession, depending if they make or miss.
Tough runner, Brandon Knight gets his first field goal.
But see, that was better recognition. He just drove the basket, took what the defense allowed him to have, then finished the play. Didn't try to go too far, maybe draw a charge call or try to kick it out into traffic. Just took the easy shot off the glass.
Kentucky again with a full court pressure. As you see, Darius Miller and Eloy Vargas sitting down in front of the scorer's table, ready to check back in. O'Brien looking for the shot again, can't get it. Calipari is screaming over on the Kentucky bench about his team's defensive play. The drive by Holland. Looked like he might have got away with a little push off.
The foul is on Liggins. That's his first of the team second.
Liggins gets called for the foul. Yeah, here from behind too. You don't want to foul a jump shooter. Deron Lamb does a pretty good job. Well, he gets pushed off, but Harrelson comes up, gets a hand up, but down low, DeAndre Liggins from behind gets called for the foul.
John Holland. He's been perfect at the free throw line in 4 of his last 5 games played. Senior out of the Bronx. There you see Darius Miller and Eloy Vargas checking in. Vargas for the first time tonight. Holland gets them both to go. He's now 5 of 5 from the stripe tonight as he goes out, and you see he got bumped. It might be one of those things where he got kind of a Charlie horse, got hit in the thigh on that last shot.
Yeah, and Dave, you know that with Harrelson going out as Brandon Knight knocks down the 3, it's not so much about he's getting tired because he's played 8 minutes. It's more the fact that he missed a block out assignment that last time down. So you'll come out for things you don't do on the floor as far as defensively and rebounding, as opposed to, I think he's in good enough shape now. He can go longer spurts.
Travis Robinson, 6'5" freshman from Philadelphia, number 24 into the lineup for BU. And there he is chasing down the rebound. And he gets bumped. Robinson, one of 3 players from Friends Central High School in Philadelphia. And the Kentucky players not with a lot of friends in John Calipari right now. The Cats lead it by 6. Fans, be sure to join Gary Gupton and Christy Thomas Sunday, November 21st at 1 when Coach Matthew Mitchell and his UK women's basketball team, they'll take on Tennessee Tech. Now, that'll be this Sunday. What is that, Kyle? The 6th, 5th or 6th of December. It's at 1 o'clock right here on the Big Blue Sports Network. It's that time of year where your whole calendar is dictated by
I think that's the 5th.
Games, football, basketball.
I think that's the 5th.
Attaway, Mace.
Cats still shooting the ball very well, 78%, 7 of 9, made both of their free throws. 4 turnovers, though, are leading in the rebounding department 6-3. And Coach Calipari about blew a gasket there going that last time out.
That would be a mild way to put it.
And I think it was Darius Miller maybe on the other end of that raft because he did pick up his 2nd foul and allowed him to get that long offensive rebound.
Liggins with a step through, can't get it to go. And Irving comes out of there with it. Liggins the other way off the turnover, can't get the 3. And O'Brien loses it out of bounds. He is not a happy guy tonight as far as his team's performance.
You know, I think he sees out there in the court that there's kind of a nonchalant attitude going on with the players. I mean, things happen in a negative way, and they're not really responding, coming back like it bothers them that they're making a mistake. And from a coach's standpoint, that really can upset you because you want it to mean something. You want your players playing with that passion every time you have possession, try to do a positive thing.
I'm going to disagree with you ever so slightly. It's not that it's nonchalant, but it's just like, it's like you said. I mean, nobody, that sense of urgency, maybe. Yeah. Or, you know, it's, you hate to go back to the pickup game, but somebody scores on you about twice in a row in the pickup game, and you're ready to put somebody in the wall.
Or when you make a mistake, you know, obviously you don't want to hang your head and give up a basket on the other end, but at the same time, you know, you got to get a little upset with yourself and not repeat that mistake.
When we were talking to Pat Chambers today, you know what it reminds me of? He was talking about his BU team, you know, from the whole AAU mentality.
Right.
Well, if you don't get it done this game, you play 3 more games and you might still advance in pool play. So that's something that both of these coaches, and Chambers, like Calipari, he's an old school, I mean, hard sort of guy in terms of the coaching, you know, and the way he was brought up. He comes from a family of 12, as you see Deron Lamb having to go out because there's blood on the jersey.
Well, I can guarantee you he's a competitor. I mean, the youngest, like you said, of 12 children, and he's got to fight for everything in that family. So he said it's kind of interesting. The bottom 6 are all in sports, which tells me that
that's because they wanted to get out of the house.
And if you want to eat, you better be competitive and get out there and battle.
Stop being forced to do what the top 6 want you to do. He said, as a matter of fact, his older brother had a flooring company, like basketball floors and stuff, and he said he started laying floors when he was like 12 years old.
Yeah.
It's really brought a passion and an attitude.
And I think it's the first time I've seen a coach wear a knee sleeve if he's not just coming off surgery or something to a practice session, a shoot around at that.
Travel is called against his team.
Tells you about his intensity from the coaching profession.
He said that was an old playing injury, because he's a Philadelphia guy, and that's where the connection comes from. But I asked him whether it was that or whether that was an indication of how hard practice was.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to take a charge sometime in practice or dive for a loose ball. He's intense.
He is animated. Liggins can't get it to go.
And he's about ready to get a tee right now.
Pat Chambers over there pleading his case with Pat Adams. And Adams has about had enough of it. You told me you'd talk to me, he just said. I think he's interested in a one-way conversation. Boston U out of the American East as Liggins misses the free throw. Conference that includes the likes of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Stony Brook, Binghamton. And Boston U is the preseason favorite to win the conference for the 4th straight year, and they have not won it in the previous 3. So a lot of expectations, at least in terms of their league, around this program.
I know Binghamton and Stony Brook, they have the last couple of years. Binghamton going through some all kind of problems, though, kind of reorganized that program.
Kentucky with a full court pressure, and the Cats with their biggest lead at 9. BU has led by 3 at 5-2. We approach the halfway point of the first half of play at Rupp. Morris can't get the pull-up to go, and there's Vargas with a rebound. After a quick start, 2 baskets, Jones has been quiet. There's John Hood, who just checked in. And Jones comes up with a loose ball. Not a good decision there by Knight as he tried to lob it up, and it was a lob that was not available to him.
Yeah, and no reason to force that. The ball was loose, gather with 2 hands, get everybody set, get a good shot. Now, John Hood's a player we see in the game, as you said, Dave, that he really could use some playing time just to kind of get his confidence. In practice, he shoots lights out in the shooting drills they have, but hadn't been able to transfer that over. Sometimes it's just a matter of staying out on the floor a little bit longer, getting comfortable out there. They talked to him yesterday about, hey, look, every time we do these drills, you're in the 60s, which is probably 10 in the country could do that, they seem to think. But in the game, you get a little tight. So just relax, play, and have, play with confidence out there.
That offensive foul went against DJ Irving, who will now go to the BU bench with his 2nd foul. You see Josh Harrelson back into the Kentucky lineup. Eloy Vargas goes to the bench, so it's Hood, Harrelson, Liggins, Jones, and Knight for the Wildcats. Matt Griffin, number 2, checks back in for BU to replace Irving. Liggins, boy, he has driven it a lot tonight, just hadn't been able to get one to go. Morris leaves it for Parton, and he turned it over. No. They called a foul, and now Calipari is getting a warning.
A little chippy out there, both benches.
I didn't see who the foul was called against.
I think it was on John Hood as he tried to get in front of the drive there.
I thought that they were going to call Parton for palming the basketball, but in fact, the foul was on Hood. Deep 3 in the corner, and it's John Holland back in there who gets it to go.
Yeah, he stops a 6-0 run by the Wildcats about the last 3 minutes.
Each team now with 2 made threes. Jones off the bounce. Can't get the tough shot to go. And Harrelson missed a good look on the putback.
Not sure the ball went out of bounds, but they may have blown that whistle a little early.
Unless Pat Adams thought it hit the bottom of the backboard.
But it can hit the bottom of the backboard, though. That's not out of bounds. That ball should have been in, unless it did ricochet there off his body out of bounds.
Unless it went off the line there.
We'll say it did.
Come on, Mace. Come on.
Coach has been on him all night. We'll give him a break. That was a great
call.
Come
on, Coach. Give it up to the ref.
That was a great call.
Jones double teamed on the low box, and he threw it away, and Holland with the flush.
Again, just the inexperience showing. It was a good post up by Jones. Didn't see where that weak side defender was shooting the gap. Maybe make a ball fake and throw it opposite as opposed to opposite diagonal.
Kentucky with a 6-0 run. BU now with 5 straight. Knight off the screen from Jones. And Harrelson bailed him out.
Well, I think that was a pass, though. It was going to be a tough shot, but he did throw up a little lob.
I don't know if it was intended for Harrelson. It ended up in his hands, and it was a basket, but I'm not quite sure that's what Brandon Knight had in mind when he went airborne.
Now, come on, Dave. We got. Here's the end where Kentucky really needs to pick it up. The offense will progress as the season goes, but you got to take pride in your defense from game 1 all the way through the season.
Wow. Are they going to count that?
Talk about tough shots.
Oh, wow, they do count it. Foul on Harrelson. And BU, much to the chagrin of Coach Cal, hanging around here at home.
Oh, I finally finished delivering all the presents. Oh, wait a minute. I think there's one left. And this one is for you, Mrs. Claus.
Thank you, Santa. And this one is for you.
Let's open them together.
The switch to Whitaker Bank.
Banking just got easy.
Whitaker Bank, uniquely Kentucky.
You know what all these Chevy trucks for sale have in common with a new Ford truck? Nothing.
I feel like it's about time for a change. That's a pretty sick truck.
This is the Ford F-150. You want to hop in?
Absolutely.
Best-selling line of pickups for the last 33 years. Go ahead, put yourself in the back of this. Look at the assist. Final thoughts, final observations?
Love to take a test drive.
Hurry in to get up to $6,500 in total savings on the built Ford Tough F-150 Super Cab or Super Crew.
You know, I think I just turned a Chevy guy into a Ford guy.
This is some of your best work.
Fulfill your dream of becoming a teacher at Midway College. Whether you're just starting your studies or a working adult who wishes to return to the classroom, Midway College can work for you. Midway College's teaching program has areas of concentration in elementary, middle school, secondary, and special education.
My favorite thing about Midway is the small classes and one-on-one attention from the teachers. You're not a number to them, I'm Lisa, and everybody knows my name and I get help from them.
Find out more about how Midway College can work for you.
Fans, we want to remind you that our next broadcast on the Big Blue Sports Network for the UK men comes your way as the Cats take on Winthrop. Wednesday, December 22nd. Check your local listings for the time you can see the game in your area. I believe the actual tip time, I believe that's a matinee. Kyle Macy special, 1 o'clock Eastern. Get him out so he can go get the blue plate. There you see the field goal shooting. As Kentucky has helped Boston University stay in this one in the last 4 or 5 minutes, Kyle.
It will be interesting to see offensive dispossession coming out of the timeout after the free throws here by Parton. How well Kentucky executes. And to see if they're smooth, not just passing, holding, and looking, but moving the ball. If it's not there, keep the ball moving and not letting it stop. But get a little bit of player movement as well as ball movement. Now we've got it set in the situation here. Now see how it flows. Not a very good pick there, but did get a good double down for Knight for the wide open three.
Couldn't get it to go. Harrelson kept it alive. And then on the rebound, Griffin commits the foul.
The foul is on Griffin. That's his first and 27.
Darius Miller with the foul situation. We have not seen much of him this first half.
DeAndre DeAndre Liggins goes to the line. Darius Miller does not have a shot. He's got 2 assists, 2 fouls.
And, you know, a lot of coaches like that rule, or not rule, but they implement that. If a player picks up 2, they'll sit him until the second half, which, you know, it's just kind of a difference in philosophy from coach to coach. Some will go ahead and play until they get the 3rd. Some maybe games will hold them as 2, but you know, you get in a game like that Connecticut game, sometimes you get a player that has 2, and if you leave him out the entire first half, the game's pretty much over by halftime when you get down 20 plus.
He picked up his 2nd foul at the 6-minute, or at the 14-minute mark, so Darius has played a total of 6 minutes tonight.
But again, you're more likely to play an older, experienced player that has some foul trouble than you are a younger kid, in the fact that he's been through it, he knows maybe to keep his hands off and not pick up that silly one. A game like this, I think you can kind of prove a point, though, too.
Kentucky turns it over for the 7th time. BU has thrown it away on 6 occasions.
We've said this many times, nothing louder than when you're sitting over there on the pond.
Whoa. Wow. Now that's the kind of thing that'll cause the coach to go crazy. Set play, saw it on the scouting report, and John Holland just throws it down. Jones can't find any room against Morris. And that's a tough runner by Deron Lamb.
That was a tough shot, but a real good touch off the glass. Again, Kentucky's offense, just kind of everybody watching one player trying to do something. You got to get a little bit more player movement, more penetration, getting the gaps, not side to side.
Good defense by Harrelson as he gets the block.
The Cats doing a real good job defensively, holding those hands straight up.
Nice decision by DeAndre Liggins. He left it for Deron Lamb, and he put it in easily.
And Lamb did a real nice job there. He had the little short jump shot, but they just kept backing off. He read the defense, took it all the way for the lay-in.
Quickly, the margin back up to 7. It's been as many as 9 for the Cats. Here's Morris. Ooh. 2 offensive rebounds for BU. Pat Adams has got the call. Let's see who he whistles with the foul. And they say Morris committed the foul.
I think they pointed the wrong way. The crowd got a little upset. Terrence Jones trying to swat the one-shot attempt like he was on the UK women's volleyball team getting ready to play in the NCAA tournament against Purdue on Friday.
How about that? I believe that's 6 in a row for Craig Skinner in his program. Good stuff. Jones can't get the free throw to go, and John Calipari really was on him at practice today. The shoot-around is Griffin nails a long 3 to stop thinking at the free throw line.
Yeah, you got to know that Griffin's an outside shooter. You got to close out much harder. He had 21 against Marist in that win back in November 17th. So you got to recognize the scouting report who the players are, but a good drive that time by Jones in the finish.
Boy, he hit that shot, but that is a tough, tough shot, Kyle.
He's got real good touch on those drives. I mean, it's hard to drive hard to the basket and still good soft shot on that drive, but he has a real knack for putting that one in.
Holland couldn't get the 3 to go, but Morris with another offensive rebound.
Talked before the game about tempo of this game, and right now, you know, Boston, even though they're down 6, it's still kind of think the tempo they would like to play, kind of slower in the half court, getting some easy transition baskets when they get some good defensive stops. And Kentucky struggling a little bit offensively.
Holland couldn't get it to go, and they get Pat Hazel to transfer from Marquette over the back on the rebound.
Take a look at that last little runner by Terrence Jones. You see going hard to his left. Just finishes so nice, really extends up with that left arm, pointing right at the basket. That is a tough shot, but he's got real good touch on that one.
So the Cats go back to the free throw line. Deron Lamb goes to the line.
I think the call was over the back because Lamb was in the blockout position on the other end.
Kentucky coming into this game shooting 59% from the free throw line. Tonight, though, 7 of 10. Lamb with a perfect line so far, 3 of 3 from the field, 1 of 1 from the three-point line, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. And he promptly misses the second. Griffin works on Knight. Down low they go. Really trying to isolate him, Holland, but good defense by Liggins. Here's Knight.
Didn't go, but a real good drive. Had to look.
Pull up off the break for Griffin.
Now all of a sudden the tempo changed. This is to Kentucky's liking, going up and down. Just got to handle it.
Long night for the man on the UK bench so far. His team still with a 7-point lead.
Walk right in now, sit right down. Baby, let your hair hang down. Wow, now walk right in, sit right down. Baby, don't you wait so long.
For over 25 years, Great Clips has been the best value in haircuts. Just walk into any of our 2,700 salons today, and you'll see why there's no better time than now to give us a try.
Baby, let your hair hang down. Relax, you're in Great Clips.
This season, let's lose the foe. No fake trees. No phony trucks. Just real proven power. The kind that comes from the legendary Ram. Just in time for the holidays. Announcing the Ram Big Finish of 2010.
In 5 to 10 years, this could be you. Go, go, going all the time and not getting anywhere. Well, that's life without your high school diploma. Earning it is not as hard as you think. The hard part is getting anywhere without it. To learn more about staying in school and to see where your high school diploma can take you, just visit knowhowtogoky.org, part of the unbridled spirit of Kentucky.
Fans, don't forget that later in tonight's broadcast, we'll have our Kentucky Farm Bureau all-around coverage, defensive play of the game. Just under the 4-minute mark here at Rupp Arena in Lexington as the Cats lead it over Boston University 31-24.
Kentucky have been a little bit careless with the basketball at times. 8 turnovers to only 6 for Boston, so you'd like to have at least that number reversed, which means you're getting more defensive pressure, forcing more turnovers than turning the ball over yourself. We haven't seen a lot of Eloy Vargas, although he checks back into the lineup now for Josh Harrelson. But, you know, on one end you think, well, they got to split those minutes 20 each, but on the other hand, you'd like to have one player play more. That means he's kind of dominating and doing a good job there, whichever, whether it's Vargas or Harrelson that night, but let one player get the majority of the minutes, which says they're performing quite well.
Kyle, I was looking at the numbers earlier this afternoon. Most Eloy has played is 16 minutes against Oklahoma. Holland can't get it to go, and there's Morris with another offensive rebound.
One thing about this Boston team, though, Dave, the fact that they are inexperienced as far as playing together, but they do have some older players from, transfers in that have played some college basketball, so they understand the ebb and the flow of a game situation.
There's Liggins with a nice drive. And his first field goal of the night. In talking with Pat Chambers when he came in to take over the BU program last year, he had 9 seniors on the roster, so he knew he was going to have holes to fill this year. He did that through the high school route and through the junior college route.
Yeah, different philosophy too. You can bring in freshmen out of high school and just kind of grow the program, but he wanted to jumpstart it right away, so he went a lot of the transfers in. And you see DeAndre, a little slide move and then off the glass. But didn't want to let it kind of grow over 3 or 4 year thing, just trying to, the first, second year, get things back on track, because they have a good basketball tradition there at Boston. Maybe not like their hockey team or anything. But
they have had success in the America East Conference, but Kyle, the last time that BU defeated a ranked team was number 18 Navy in the Sweet 16 back in 1959. That's 5-9.
But you know, the thing about that though, Dave, is Boston gets an offensive rebound, him by Parton, but if you go back and look, I'm sure none of those games were home games, or if so, very few. Most of them were on a away court, probably very few neutral courts at that. And Kentucky now gives the offensive board and a basket, plus the foul.
Morris in there getting the rebound. He is, again, one of 3 freshmen, along with Robinson and Gaskins, who are from Friends Central High School in Philadelphia. It's a private school near Villanova. So obviously Pat Chambers, being on the Villanova staff, has a lot of familiarity with that school, its players, and its staff.
Right, and that's where he went for his first recruiting classes, that Philadelphia area, like I said, just because he was so familiar with it.
And to give folks some perspective on BU, Kyle, is last year in the postseason, they knocked off Morehead State.
Well, and they've had some opportunities. They had Notre Dame, I think it was back in '07, which was a ranked school. They were up 10 in the second half and 10 the first half, 6 in the second half before losing that game by 7. So they've had some chances. And you know, they made it to the semifinals last year of the collegeinsider.com tournament, which you know, you and I were fortunate enough to do the final game. So Southwest Missouri, I believe, knocked them off in that semifinal game and went on to win the championship, beating Pacific in the final.
Jones hit the 3, but you saw Griffin come back and answer. And there's Jones again. That time he doesn't follow his shot. And Morris has been a presence for BU on the boards.
He's a wide body. He's very strong. He looks like a tight end out there on the floor, and that's something, a space eater like that will give Kentucky problems in the post.
6'7", 240. That's his 4th rebound. And look at Jones out there at 6'8" with the D on 5'10" Griffin.
Well, and that's the thing that's so amazing about Terrence Jones. He has excellent size and length, but he is quick enough and agile enough that he can get down there and guard a little 5'10" point guard. That's why he's a matchup nightmare for opposing coaches offensively.
Lamb whistled for the foul. And it'll put Daryl Parton at the free throw line.
You know, if you take a look over that Kentucky bench, if we can go on down the bench, just take a look at some of those players' faces. Again, sometimes it's tough coming back from a long trip like Hawaii. I know it's been 4 or 5 days, whatever, but still, just to get back in your routine and get your emotions back in the game. You can see there's some real stares on those players' faces. Just kind of like a little bit, I don't know, fatigue factor still, or whatever, jet lag, whatever you want to call it, but they need to kind of snap out of that. Sometimes, I know coaches in the halftime will go in and just tell you to throw cold water on your face. Could have had a lane violation there by DeAndre Liggins, but since he made it, none called.
They got back about 1 a.m., I believe it was, on Thanksgiving night.
Well, I think most fans recognize as Lamb misses the 3. If you just watch those games 3 days in a row, by the end of that, you were kind of worn out yourself because of the time change and late nights, whatever. So you can imagine playing 3 nights in a row. Great block that time by Jones.
He starts the break. Knight tries to finish, and he'll go to the line.
Good outlet pass, driving DeAndre, kicks it back opposite. And that's what Knight needs to do, just take the easy shot. I don't know if the camera caught it or not, but there you see coach trying to help him up, but he didn't take his hand, but it wasn't because he didn't appreciate it. It was because he has his contact lens on his finger and he didn't want to lose his contact.
You can tell he's a veteran, though. Did you see him put that back in without the mirror or anything?
Yeah, I can't do that. I've tried to put a contact in my eye. I can't do that.
That's because you probably couldn't see it. For those who have never had the fortune of seeing your BlackBerry, the letters on it are bigger than the numbers on our screen. There you see Jones over there. He's getting a look-see. Looked like he blew his shoe.
Maybe even wiping some blood off the shoe. They've got the gloves out there.
Now Kentucky with a little half-court trap. And let's see if they get Knight or Vargas, one of the two. It's Brandon Knight who's whistled for the foul. First against Knight. Travis Robinson, 6'5", 190-pound freshman from that Friends Central High School in Philadelphia, checks back in to the BU lineup. There's Terrence Jones replacing John Hood in the Kentucky lineup.
See, I think a game like this, if you're a player that not so much not happy with your minutes or you would like to play more minutes, this is a game you really need to be mentally and physically into, because you know if we've got some players in foul trouble, there's a short list, and Boston continues to make those free throws 90%, 9 out of 10 from the line. Now, 10 out of 11.
You can play your way into more time in this game.
Exactly. You get out there and show what you can do out there in the court. Don't let them take you off the court because you're playing so well.
Final seconds of the first half. Cats looking to extend a 5-point lead. Jones, will he pull up? Yes, he will.
Basket by Jones.
A lot of confidence right there as you put the ball in the hands of a guy who's 6'8", and let him put it on the deck, and he gets it to go. The Cats lead the Terriers by 7. We're back to Rupp with our halftime activities right after this.